this is the one thing that I want to hit home, and it was funny because before I came on the air today, I was dealing with a little troll on Twitter, and I've gotten pretty good at identifying who the trolls are and who are the guys who are just legitimately asking questions and are frustrated or who don't agree with me on a specific position. This guy was clearly a troll, but I was doing my best to kind of work through it. And he was angry at me using the "Make America Great Again" hashtags and proud partisan, he said, and he's basically a hardcore neoconservative right winger Trump guy, which you're perfectly okay to do that. But when you say that because I don't support the right, because I'm not a fan of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, that I somehow don't believe in liberty and freedom, I have to laugh. I have to laugh at your ignorance. I have to laugh at what a simple minded person you are to believe that the right wing cares any more for your liberty than the left wing does. I mean, how many different cases have we outlined about Donald Trump wanting to revamp Obamacare in order to provide health insurance to everyone? How is that any different than Obamacare? It's not. It's just under a different label. It's under a Republican label. What about Donald Trump wanting to restrict Second Amendment rights to anyone who's on a watch list? Oh, yeah, if the government decides to stick you on a watch list, then they can just come and take your guns away. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that President Obama is trying to implement and trying to change as he begins to exit the highest office in the land. But to suggest that the Republican Party, those wannabe conservatives, are somehow in favor of protecting your liberty and protecting your freedoms in a way that the left is not, I find just absolutely aghast. In the same way, your country and the government that is supposed to serve you is no more moral, no more ethical, no more righteous than the ones in Russia or the UK or France or Great Britain. All of them seek their own self-interest. If you want evidence of that, we can go back to the data dump that was done showing the NSA spying on Americans after their government told us they weren't. We can take a look at the spying on our allies that our government does on Germany and the UK. Now that is not unique. Other governments do it to us. And what I'm trying to get across to you, what I'm trying to share, is that it's wrong to look at those in power and assume that they're doing the right thing. To assume that in a conflict with them in the Middle East, that we are the good guys and Assad is the bad guy and Russia is the bad guy or China's the bad guy and we somehow are the good guys. It's even more foolhardy to place your faith in a particular political brand. I know a lot of us who listen to this show consider ourselves to be libertarians, but does that mean that you shill for the Libertarian Party? I got to tell you, there's some guys. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some folks right now who are really doing some shilling for the LP. They're out there carrying the water for the Libertarian Party. They're carrying water for Donald Trump, and they're guys that I know and like. And every time I see the post on Facebook or I hear them talk, I just think, man, dude, brother, I know that if I got you in private, you'd be saying something different. I know that if we were talking one on one, that you would not be saying those things. That you would be admitting the failure. And it's the difference between having principles in what you believe in and being a party man. I've said many times on the show that it used to be something that people despised. That if you called someone a party man, those were fighting words. That was back when reputation really mattered. You know, now you can have a negative reputation; it'll make you millions of dollars a year. But there was a time when your word really had weight, and it was important that you be as good as your word, and that you were known as being honest and trustworthy. Those days seem to be gone, and it's very frustrating to me that we live in those times. But placing your faith in this particular brand over that particular brand is detrimental to everyone, because what it requires is the same thing that this poor troll on Facebook or on Twitter has been reduced to. Gone is the free thought. Gone is the questioning of his own political party. Gone is the questioning of the ideology and where the brand has gone and how far away it is from what he truly believes. And what's left is just this diehard, that's my team. That's my team. And I go for that team. And that's the only team that we're going to follow. And so I don't care. Doesn't matter, good, bad. You'll be a bunch of rapists, pedophiles, still my team. And that's a shame. It's a shame because, unfortunately, this guy on Twitter, if we actually sat down and he'd stopped slinging mud for long enough, we'd probably find out that we agree on just about everything. And the problem is that he's fallen into an ideology that requires him to support his brand, his team, rather than supporting his principles.